Hey guys, Adam, BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard, and today is September 15th, and we're getting towards the end of the season here, and I just thought I'd go over what in-ground fig trees produced figs this year, what trees are still producing figs, what trees won't produce figs, and also how to ripen your figs faster during the fall season before the cold weather comes. So here's a couple of my trees that did produce figs this year, and that we are going to get a crop out of the figs from dying down to the root and growing back during the spring. As you can see, this one is just reaching 6 feet. So we had 6 feet of growth on this tree, this LSU Gold, in this region, and it is producing some very large figs, which we are going to get. They should be ready in the next 15 days to pick. So this is one of the in-ground trees that I recommend planting in the ground, covering, or leaving uncovered like I did. It died back to the ground, and it grew back 6 feet, and I'm going to get a couple figs off it. But if you want a large production of figs, you want to cover your trees, you want to insulate them from the cold, especially in zone 6B. But this is probably, out of all the fig trees in my orchard, the most prolific grower that came back after winter dieback. So we're going to walk around real quick and check out what fig trees are producing, what fig trees are not producing after grow back from dying to the ground and not covering, leaving uncovered. And then we're going to show you how to produce figs in September, October, give them a better chance of ripening for consumption. So this was my LSU Gold, which is the winner this year in the orchard for the best production and grow back after not covering and die back to the ground. This right here is my Black Mission. As you can see, very little growth after dieback. I have no figs on the tree, so that's going to be ripped out and be put back in a pot, and we're going to put that in the garage. Here's one of my favorite trees right here. It's a beautiful fig tree, and we have my Violet Day Normandy, and you can see it's loaded with figs, but we're not going to get the production from these figs this year due to their size. They're only about a quarter of the way in growth so far, and this is a great tasting fig. So again, because we're not going to get the production, we're going to rip this out, put it back in a container, put it back in the garage. And again, it only had about 3 feet of growth, but it is loaded with figs. But we're at September 15th, and these figs are not going to produce this year, so we will just put it back in a container. Another great fig tree, which is number 2 in my orchard, that came back after dieback, right here, is my White Madeira, number 1. And this grew about 5 feet. And as you can see, we have figs coming in, and they are about 3/4 of the way right now. So we are going to get some figs from this tree this year. This is my number 2 for leaving in ground uncovered for the production of figs. If you cover it, of course, you'll get a large crop. It won't die back to the ground. You'll have even a larger crop. So I recommend covering your fig trees. We did a little experiment this year of leaving them all uncovered to see what would grow back, what would not produce figs. And this was our experiment. These are the results of our experiment of leaving these trees in the ground. Okay, another tree that grew back beautifully, but 0 figs. So this is the loser. This tree is going to be ripped out, put back in a pot, back in the garage, so that we can continue to grow for some figs this year. And this is our LSU, Louisiana State University grown LSU Champagne fig, which I love the champagne figs, but in order to get the figs, we have to put it back in a container in a heated environment. We are not going to be growing fig trees if we don't have large fig productions. Another fig tree this year that grew back is this is our Brooklyn White. I thought we'd have a large production from it because this Brooklyn White is from Italy. brought over to Brooklyn many years ago, but I thought we'd have a fig production. As you can see, there's only one little fig. We're not going to get any figs from this tree this year. So I guess it is on our D list for putting back in a pot. We can't keep it uncovered in the ground. If you want to keep it covered in the ground, you will have a large fig production, as with all these fig trees. If you insulate them and you protect them from the winter, any of these fig trees, you'll get fig production and growth for the following year. But to leave it in uncovered and expose to the elements. Here's our beautiful violet de Bordeaux fig tree. A little bit of growth, 24 inches by 5 feet wide, but no figs. That's going to go back in a pot also. Another tree that we had here is this is our Diana fig tree. I had another large 4-foot stem on it, but it broke off during a storm. But as you can see, prolific grower, no figs, back in the pot, back in the garage. And right here for our fall experiment here. Let's see what we have here. I gotta get down here to these tags. This is our Sister Mary Magdalene Greek fig tree. Great growth, one little fig. But again, back in the pot, no production. And I can't wait. I've been waiting since I grew this from a cutting to taste this Sister Mary Magdalene fig. And thought I was going to get one this year, but we're going to put it in a pot. We'll get figs next year from it. We're not going to worry. Another one of our fig trees right here. Prolific grower. 0 figs on this one. And I believe that's a copy of our Diana right there, but again, no figs. And where are we going here? We're going over to our we're going to talk about some of these other fig trees that you see on the ground just sprouting right now. We're going to talk about them in another video, but we're just going to go to the fig trees this year that grew and that are giving us figs and not giving us figs. That's our Portugal Unknown. Very little growth this year. No figs. Portugal's a very hot environment. We need to put that back in a container. Here's a small tree. I didn't get a lot of growth on it, so it just goes to show you, everybody, even though you don't have a lot of growth, you could still get figs from little trees. And you can see in here that we have little figs growing. Right here, here's another fig. But we are going to put that back in a container because it's a slow grower. And we're not going to get figs from it. And I'm just going to rip a couple of these off. And this is our Jack Lily right there. I just wanted to check the tag. That's so many, I got to tag them all. That's our Jack Lily. I believe this one right here is one of my favorite fig trees. No figs this year, but a lot of growth on this tree. A lot of growth. This is our BB10. I love this fig. It's one of my favorite figs, my Black Beauty. And it's going to come out, go back in a pot because I love these figs. Gives you large, deep black star-like figs, and they're absolutely delicious. Another prolific grower. You can see a small fig coming in on there. No figs again. This is going to go back in a pot. This right here, this tree right here, has a lot of growth on it. I believe this one's from Italy also. We're going to have to put that back in a pot. What do we have here? We have our Basilica Sicca. Again, one of my favorite figs. And no figs this year because we let it die back in a pot. Going over to this one. What do we have here? Nero 600M, again from Italy. One of my favorite figs, back in a pot. This one was a great grower this year. But again, no figs. Let's check our tag here. Our Peter's Honey, and I love Peter's Honey. It's a great fig tree. A lot of people like this fig. Beautiful leaves, beautiful tree, but no figs. It's got to go back in a pot. This is our, I believe our Sicilian. Yeah, this is our Dave Sicilian. Great growth this year. No figs. And then you come to other trees, other fig trees, like right here. And as you can see, I'm just gonna put the camera up and down. This is a great tree. One of my favorite fig trees. You can see it's loaded with figs. We're not gonna get the production from this because the figs are too small. We only have another month, 15 days to a month of ripening. But what a great tree. The Sao Miguel Roxo, the growth was great on it. There's over 20 figs on it from growing back from the ground, but we're not gonna get them, so far we're only gonna get figs from 2 trees, maybe 3 in the back orchard here. The rest of them have to be put back in pots, brought back out here in the springtime, and have a watering system hooked up to them, okay? It's our Sao Miguel Roxo. Now there's another tree that I gave to a lot of my friends. This is the Texas Everbearing, and you can see how big the figs are. This is our 3rd favorite in-ground tree for not covering and coming back, but as you can see, it died to the ground. I only have a couple figs on it, a couple large ones in there that we're gonna get, okay? But it only grew back 24 inches from the ground, and that's not acceptable. So if you cover this tree, you will get a large production. I have a friend that has this tree, and his tree's growing like crazy, giving him a lot of figs. But as you cover it and it grows, it's just gonna get better and better every year, and the figs are gonna produce more and more. Another great grower this year that we had, and you can see how big it is. It's almost 4.5, 5 feet. This is our Teramo from Italy. So this Teramo came back loaded with figs all the way up and down, but we're not going to get any figs because we don't have a long growing season here in Zone 6B, so this has to go back in a pot. But I just want to show you the fig production and the growth after it dying back down to the ground. I mean, it's really nice. What a great tree. Great fig tree. And of course, over here we have our Godfather fig tree from the movie The Godfather. This is a cutting I got from somebody, and I grew it, and this died to the ground, and look at the growth on this thing. It just comes back. We may get a couple figs out of this year, but I did take a cutting of this fig and I replicated it, so we're gonna have it in a pot. I may cover this tree this year because it's such a good grower. I think I'll cover all the trees that are giving us large production figs. I think I'll protect them this year so they grow bigger, and the rest of them I'll put back in pots, just so I can leave these 4 big growers in the ground. And you can just see, look at the fig production on the Godfather fig tree. It's just beautiful. And the tree is just very abundant. You know, grew about 5 feet this year. What a great tree. So that was our report here on the growth and comeback, September 15th, 2023. We did very good this year on our experiment. Our experiment is now over. I know what fig trees I need to put back in containers. I know what fig trees I can leave out here covered. But final results of our experiment say, do not leave your fig trees uncovered for grow back in Zone 6B, because we will not be eating any figs, and we only grow figs to eat them and give them to our friends and family members and so on. So just wanted to share this video of our experiment this year. And this is Adam from BC Fig Farm and Fruit Orchard. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to show you in our next video how to produce figs towards the end of the season. Have a great day.